Well, hey there, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Island Church Weekly Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Lombardi, joined as always by Dr. Will McRaney. Doctor, how you doing today?
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood again. If someone can't get smiley and happy about just walking outside here, I just don't know what to think about them. It's very nice today.
Yeah.
So we're doing well.
Yeah,
Weather
absolutely.
doesn't determine our life, but it
Yep.
really is nice.
Well, I feel like when you're on the ocean or when you're in Florida, the weather it's kind of one of the main reasons people move here, right? If it were dark and cloudy here all the time, wouldn't really be quite the appeal to live in this area. So
Mm,
I feel like it's worth having a pretty significant part of our lives. So,
yep.
well, speaking of the weather, I know where we were, it was a beautiful weekend. How was the weekend at Island Church?
Oh, it was another good weekend for us. Certainly we miss some of the people that, as they transition back, that winter here with us, and just such kind words, good feedback. The last several weeks on the service, but particularly from those that'll be going back, and I think they really miss us, and we're really glad about that.
Yeah,
When they're here, they come and they're engaged in different parts of
yeah,
our church life, and so that's a really good thing. So we're missing those people, and then we have a few people that run around doing their thing too. No, we were out this
yeah.
week, had people out doing family things or out with vacation things of that nature. But it was two good services again, and just a good warm spirit. We had Sandy did up the appetizers after the 10 o'clock
Awesome.
service. And so people just hung out, engaged with one another. And as you know, we're really trying to help people do life together and walk with Jesus together. You need a group helping you walk with Jesus. This isn't an individual
Absolutely.
sport. This is finding people that you can pull along and they pull you along in faith. And so it was really good, and dealt with a passage this week. We're dealing with I started a new series on encountering encounters with Jesus,
Yeah,
and so I think this is going to be fun to look at some of the just way he interacted with people. People have a lot of different views of God and images
yeah.
of God, but we can actually look at stories. And so this past week we looked at the area of forgiven. I think
Mm,
it's one of the most powerful words in the English language,
yeah.
and we engaged with the counter we looked at was the adulterous woman caught in
Mm,
adultery with Jesus, and how did he interact with her? How did she interact with him? What were the religious leaders doing? So it was just a good overall service,
mm,
and we looked at God's design for intimate sexual relations, and so
yeah.
that was a part of the overall whole. But it was really good service, and got a lot of great feedback, and people loved. I think the music, and Sandy and the team's doing a great job with that, and so just just another good day on
Awesome.
at Island Church. I mean, our church is very
Awesome.
welcoming. For those that are listening, many of you are part of that welcoming, making our church feel
Yeah.
warm and welcome. We certainly appreciate that. That adds to what we're doing. People can hear the message, and particularly they can hear from God more easily when they feel there's a good environment there and relaxed environment, and we create that. And so we just really appreciate our entire church family for creating that with us.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, and the goal is, especially as people come and go for seasonality, or maybe they're gone for the season, they're kind of moving back up north. That both our online presence with the messages each
Mm.
week online, but then also this podcast are a way for people to stay connected. That it's hey, especially when you're physically not part of Sunday mornings, it
All
can be
right.
really hard to still feel like, oh, this is my church. But our goal is that there's really two ways there. If you are one of those folks and you're watching this now, for you to stay connected to life of the church through this, and also through our Sunday messages that they're streamed online. So
Right.
always have ways to stay connected with the church and stay up to date on those messages, and say, okay, keep growing in what God's doing in your life.
Mm.
So speaking of growth, Pastor Will, we're new series right now. What are you kind of looking forward to in the weeks ahead for both the sermon series we're in, but then also some of the things in the life of our church?
Well, as I mentioned, this encountering Jesus is really important because we can pick up on who he is and how he engaged by taking a look at how he
Yeah.
engaged with people. And for many people, Jesus is kind of the unknown God in our culture today. I
Mhm.
mean, people may use his name in vain, they may
Yeah.
use it
Yeah.
flippantly, but
Yeah.
they actually don't know who he is. And the way he engaged with people is actually very attractive to
Yeah.
most people today. If they actually how he dealt with people that were outcasts of society, how he engaged with the religious leaders of the day, how he engaged with those in need. I mean, it's pretty amazing. Just live selflessly and hey, poured his life into others. And so I look forward to that. And I think that can help us think about how's our engagement with Jesus.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to the next several weeks, and maybe
Yeah.
we'll go 6 weeks, something like this, as we move through April and move through part of May. And so that's a good thing. And then we're going to include in terms of our service, we're going to add an interactive TV, which has actually arrived, and it'll be pretty neat. I'm not sure that, often these TVs are smarter than the operators, so they'll be smarter than me. Thank goodness we got Steve Bivens and others that will help us tie it together in our system. But we hope to create more of a, the sermon won't be a dialogue. It won't be that.
Yeah.
Other than Sandy speaking out, if you're in our services every now and then, she'll do that, which
Yeah.
everybody needs to put at that. But it'll be a little more engaging. And so we're gonna work on that. So just give us a little bit of grace as we try to get that figured out. But it'll be pretty close to me, and I'll be able to move the PowerPoint, or I'll be able to draw on it, or whatever it might be. And so we're going to try to help our service be a little more engaging, which I think we've already worked on this a little bit. Stay true to the biblical content, but try to communicate in a way that makes sense. And that's what we're going to be trying to do. So we've got that's arrived. And as you know, we're still moving towards our architect with our building. We're meeting again this afternoon with him. We're on about drawing number 5 or something like that. 4. We're on 4. We'll be moving to 5. And so that's that. And then this summer, we're going to be looking at trying to focus in on making connections. We have a lot of new people in our life of our church, and it really is important to get connected with other people. Sandy and I love to do this, and between the women's group, the men's group, all the things that we're doing with Momentum upcoming, but it really is important for people to connect with other people. And so we're going to work on that this summer. We'll try to have some fun together, and it'll be casual. And so we'll make some announcements on that in the coming weeks, and let you know some of those fun activities and how we can do a little bit of Bible devotional type of things together, because we know people are coming and going. So some of our groups will be a little bit less active individually, but we're going to be more active collectively this summer.
I love it. Very cool. Very cool. Well, it's going to be an exciting summer for sure. I'm excited because I think it's going to be a great time for connection, right? Summer is always that time where, as much, you have people coming and going. It may feel like sometimes the actual Sunday gathering is a little bit smaller, but what you often find is summertime is that time where people get close and they go deep doing life together. And so excited for that. Pastor Will, how can people be praying for the church this week?
Well, we're going to try to get this building finalized, and so we want to do that. We're still moving quite forward with our Bridge to the Future campaign. Whether it's a home was one of the things that we need in terms of pastoring, but really the primary focus is around this building. And again, if people haven't listened, we have talked about it a whole lot. We're just trying to build an outpost for ministry. It's not just to make life comfortable. We're going to continue to worship right where we are. We're going to try to expand that just a little bit, maybe add in 25 seats or something like that in our worship center. But we're trying to build this outpost. We want to get that right. We need financial resources. People can pray about their involvement if they've not been involved. If they're looking for information, we'll be happy to provide that for them as well. But this is kind of a big deal. It's a big step in the life of the church. We certainly appreciate those who have gone before us to entrust the facilities. We're trying to do everything we can to maximize the use of the facilities, and at the same time do ministry out in the community. Right? I mean, we're doing home stuff, and then we're doing many things that are outside of ourselves. But this building will give us some additional space. We're going to try to have some conference area, kind of a gathering spot out the back, maybe up on the second floor, looking over the water. There's just several neat things about it we look forward to sharing. But anyway, they can just pray about that entire process. David Brooks and I are working together with our architect and with others on this, and so they can be in prayer about that. That'd be a good thing. And again, this is a mission expander, we're not just doing building expansion.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. It's a great word and a great way for folks to be praying this week for the church. Well, Pastor Will, thank you so much for taking the time. And always great to have everyone listen in. If you haven't gotten a chance to subscribe, like the video, make sure you stay up to date on all the things happening, and we will see you next week.